that says blind. So here is a movement to open eyes of one and all towards non-violent living. Festive spirit in the name of non-violence. What's your name?
My name is Shashank.
How do you feel being a part of this movement?
Excellent feeling. This is the bestest movement I would ever have because we are going against violence, right? For every act of violence, we are raising 100 acts of non-violence, and this is excellent movement for us.
This billion act of non-violence. How do you see it would resonate with people?
You know, we were just flyering today coming up here, and people were so open and available to it. And oh, this is a good cause, and oh, this needs to be done, and thank you for your work, and wanting to know more. So I think people are encouraged because they're seeking and longing for this, and they're seeking and wanting more support around creating a better world.
An art of living definitely goes with non-violent way of embracing life. What do you see could be different in today's gathering and today's message by Shri ji?
Yeah, it's basically, this is something he started 30 years back. He already was spreading the message of non-violence, starting from within and then spreading outwards. Now he feels the society has reached a place where this needs to be now open, this needs to be nationalized. Kind of like how Gandhiji did, kind of like how MLK did. He felt that it should not be just limited to meditators. Every human being can participate, and that's what he's launching. He's saying everybody can participate in that. He's making it so accessible to everybody.
New Yorkers are invited to embrace non-violence in creative ways. So here I have, what's your name?
Medha Patel.
Medha, what's happening behind us?
Over here, we have a little photo shoot going on. There's a lot of people here. We're just gathering, and we had little slips of paper. So what we did was we had an act of nonviolence. We took a pledge. So my pledge was to do Kriya for 37 days straight. Kriya is the technique that we use over at the Art of Living Foundation, and they tell us that we should do it for 40 days. I've only gotten to 36. So here, I made a pledge for 36 days, and I hope to continue with it. And that's what I'm
Say something more about this technique. Explain what it is.
This technique was taught by Guruji himself. So he's coming here to New York City today. And this technique is basically to help us to detox our bodies, a natural way to do it. And for different people, there's been many different benefits to this technique. Some people, you've seen people who have like paralysis come out of it and they're perfectly fine. For other people, like students who are depressed, this is a great technique. It's just a breathing technique, meditation technique, and it's very beneficial.
Actually, what do you think is the main reason for violence in the world?
Really, it's misunderstanding and miscommunication. And the more common ground we have and the more we focus on the commonalities among diverse groups, the more communication and more, more ideas are exchanged, and that can lead to, oneness and more peace.
What do you would be your response to the same question? The cause of violence in the world.
Same, I think it's seeing differences where we should be seeing similarities and realizing that we're all part of the same source, and we all go to the same place, and we all came from the same place.
So right now we are giving non-violence a platform because there's so many movies. Every movie, find a movie that does not have violence and is not a blockbuster and is a blockbuster hit. Show me one movie.
Make one blockbuster which promotes non-violence, and in order to absolutely.
Non-violence, Mahatma Gandhi was teaching the world right from several years onwards, but nobody followed. Today what is happening in the world is violence as priority, and violence, destruction, it can give result in a success. That is not correct. So non-violence is always a successful one.
Violence actually is pretty much complicated thing, because if we see it in a big perspective, to accuse somebody or to gossip about somebody, to yell at somebody can also be violence. So we are committing violence in little ways but never realize it is violence, and today's moment is all about it. I mean, stop the violence and do the act of kindness, do the act of non-violence in the way you can, and make the world a better place.
The spirit to celebrate non-violent living. What's your name?
Andrew Shantz.
And you are?
I'm Pramik Russell Tubbs.
What brings you here, and how convinced you are that collectively with this kind of gathering, it may make some substantial difference?
I certainly hope so, and I believe this kind of thing has a lot of power with people getting together under a cause like this and with a teacher like this behind it.
And we are both performing with the great artist Chandrika Tandon today. We're opening the program, which we're very honored to do. We think it's a very positive program, and we wish it great success.
We're all here for a very, very, very important launch today, right? Launching 1 billion acts of non-violence. See, in our country here, there are 10 million acts of violence happening every year. We can't go on like this. If we just leave it to itself like this, it may multiply into become 1 billion acts of violence. There will be no way. Our kids deserve a safe world, a safe society. And it's our responsibility to bring that safety in society.
Mahatma Gandhi's favorite song. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram Raghupati Raghava Raja Patita Pavana Sita Ram Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Pati
This is Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas.
I was just thinking, why violence is there? You know, I came up with some 5 points on which violence comes up. First is rage and stress. Stress is the first cause of violence. You know, if someone is stressed, the way they act is not peaceful. It's violent. Stress and rage is the first cause of violence. The second cause of violence is greed and jealousy. Do you agree with me? Yes. Greed and jealousy causes violence. And the third cause of violence is wrong indoctrination. Wrong indoctrination of politics or religion. The third cause of violence. And the fourth cause of violence is intoxication, drugs, intoxication. People are not even aware what they are doing. They act in such a manner that causes harm to others. And the fifth is entertainment. People kill for entertainment. If there are a sixth cause, you please think and tell me too. There is one more. We can generally categorize violence in these 5 categories, and we need to counter each one of them. Each one of them. Sixth could be to satisfy one's carnal instinct. Sex violence, sex abuse. You know, where you're not bothered about the other person, you are only there to gratify yourself. You can add this as a sixth one. If there is a seventh one, please tell me. We need to counter this. How can we do that? We have to begin from where we are. We need to look into our mind. Can we calm our mind down? Can we accept the person as they are? Can we take a vow of acts of non-violence? Stretching our hand first. As the previous speakers who shared here so beautifully said, just stop and say hello to somebody. You know? The barriers that we build between us should just come down. attached to aggression and violence. You know, when we were kids, when we were growing up, non-violence was a matter of pride. If you are non-violent, then that was, you need to be very proud about. See, I'm so non-violent, I never harmed anybody. Because when I was growing up, we grew up with the life stories or teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. Now my teacher is a very close associate of Mahatma Gandhi. In fact, he taught Mahatma Gandhi Bhagavad Gita, and he was with him for 40 years. And my grandfather also was with Mahatma Gandhi for 20 years in his ashram. So we always heard the stories, encounters they had with Mahatma Gandhi, and the stories of non-violence. My teacher, he's still alive, 117-year-old. Very, very good, very strong, and still clear, alert in his mind. He used to tell us the stories, how the days he spent with Mahatma Gandhi, and these principles of non-violence was ingrained so deeply. We used to take pride in being non-violent. Unfortunately, in the last 2-3 decades, pride has got itself attached to aggression and violence. We need to reverse this. Don't you think so? Yeah? So all of us here who have gathered, we should start taking pride in being non-violent. You know, if someone has hurled an abuse at you, you should say, I just stood up there and smiled at it. Someone insulted me, but I just smiled and sent a rose to him. If we can do this, we will be bringing the revolution on this planet. Are you ready for it? Ready to do something drastic? Something that nobody would have expected you to do it? Yeah? Let me start with the domestic thing. At home, if there is an argument with your spouse, what you're going to do now? Yeah. Let them have their way. See, it's no point both of you getting upset at the same time. You should take turns. Okay? Don't do it together. Let them have their time and you have your own time, another time. Okay?
This is Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas.